I would say it was positive. At the beginning of the pandemic, I was pretty nervous about the whole experience. I guess I particularly remember feeling bad for all those students from smaller medical school or international medical graduates that rely on away rotations and in-person meetings for networkings, letters of recommendations, and mentorship. Also, for an extrovert like me, the idea of not having in-person interviews seemed like catastrophe. Thankfully, with social media, Zoom, and many other virtual initiatives, the process turned out much better than what I expected. Applicants and programs were able to work together in a positive way, and I'm really proud of that. I'm not sure. It's obviously more convenient and cost effective for both the applicants and programs. I mean, what is wrong with changing a protocol so it's cheaper for both applicants and programs? Because it is. I'm happy to keep interviews virtual, in my opinion, but there has to be some type of general recommendations by our medical education societies. I'm not sure how it will work when some programs require in-person interviews while others virtual. I guess it comes down to how applicants and programs can show interest and also interview cancellation. If there was a big change with virtual interviews, it was the lack of interview cancellations, which I guess needs to be accounted for. We'll have to wait and see. But what we know for sure is that virtual interviews can work. Yes, absolutely. This past year, we learned two things about the USMLE. First, the step one is going to pass or fail, and the CS is done. I think this season was a good opportunity for programs to start implementing ways to do a more holistic evaluation of applications. And I think most programs did, at least in radiology, or that's my opinion. One of the good things about social media for me as a PD is that after the match, I got to see where most applicants that I interview ended up matching. And I've already evaluated their application. I guess it's been refreshing for me to see so many applicants that not necessarily had the best objective numbers match into good and desirable programs. That only means that programs are moving away from just judging applicants based purely on objective data. That's a very good question. Back in October, when ERAS opened, I was excited to start a more holistic evaluation of our applicants. Then I realized we had close to 1,000 applications and I got frustrated really, really fast. I guess my thinking at the time was, how am I going to read 1,000 ERAS applications? The point is that programs need to have a plan before starting to evaluate applications. There's got to be a way to translate subjective parameters into some type of objective data. For me, it was community service, mentoring, and emotional intelligence. When I read through personal statements and letters of recommendations, I was always looking for evidence that could support any of those qualities and would give them a numerical value and percentage. I guess if you start reading applications without a plan, it will turn into pure frustration very quickly, as it did for me. Also, if you actually read an application, which takes a lot of time and effort, you can learn quite a lot from an applicant. So yes, holistic is great, but it's very time consuming and it's very costly. When it comes down to underrepresented minorities, I'm optimistic. I don't have any data, obviously, but my perception after post-match social media posts is that the underrepresented minority representation was palpable. I do believe that trying to match underrepresented minorities and women can be challenging for programs and is much more complicated than what it seems. Optics is one thing, reality is another. For obvious reasons, there are very few underrepresented minorities in the application pool. So even if you interview most of them and rank them really, really high, there is a small chance that they'll end up in your program. I guess it's just statistics. And obviously, I'm not taking into consideration the program's effort to attract underrepresented minorities and women, which is another topic altogether. So in many ways, I'm just simplifying things. Let's see, for example, if women are only 25% of the application pool, but you decide to interview 50% women, then you're risking going lower and lower on your list and perhaps going no match. But I think most programs are trying hard and it's very refreshing to see. But no doubt that there is still a lot of work to do in regards to diversity and representation. Specifically, in earlier stages of education. Yes, of course. Every program that fully matched had a successful match. Just like applicants, programs should not rank students that they don't believe would thrive in their environment. So yes, we had a very successful match. Anyways, having a successful match has nothing to do with how long you go on your list, which is the biggest misconception out there. The match is a game for both applicants and programs, and if you don't know how to play this game, you may end up not matching. It happens every year. You all know that. So a successful match is really about matching applicants that would thrive in your environment and are happy to open that letter on match day and see your institution as their home for the near future. Well, should I tell you my secrets? It's pretty funny, but really it all comes down to how well you understand your program. The program director of Harvard Radiology has a very different job than me when it comes down to recruitment. We're all looking for solid students able to pass the boards and survive residency with a positive attitude. I guess it comes down to emotional intelligence and really wanting to be in your program. You take any applicant and you can easily distinguish between these three things as a program director: the I needs, the I wants, and the I wish. Some applicants need to be in your program because of personal matters. Typical example would be because of a spouse is in that city working or a sick person in the family they need to take care of. Those applicants would do anything to be in your program and will be excited and relieved to match with you. That said, those applicants are a minority. The majority of applicants will fall in the I want category. They want to train in a specific city or in a specific institution, but there is some flexibility about it. These applicants are harder to read because they are usually very good and have the power to choose. Then there is the I wish category, for those applicants that would go anywhere but wish to have a choice. These are the applicants who think as themselves as not competitive and are just looking for somebody to take them. In reality, all this is perception. But for matters of the application process, I tend to see them as hidden gems. To make things more complicated for programs, and to be able to understand your program, there are three other factors that every program should know because they play a role when deciding who to interview and how to rank. These are location, prestige, or brand name, and famous people. Let's take my program for example. San Antonio is a beautiful and amazing city, but I have to admit that it doesn't have the allure of a cosmopolitan metropolis like New York City or Los Angeles. Are applicants willing to take any residency spot just because they want to live here? Not likely. So let's move to branding. The University of Texas is a powerhouse, but it's not Harvard. It's just not. Doesn't have that name. No matter what you think, applicants like brand names because it gives them prestige. In my case, I can compete with that, and I can only make my residency better in terms of recruitment if I understand that fact. Lastly, applicants tend to think that a place is better if there are some famous people working there, people that are recognized. I mean, imagine if Dr. X wrote the book on neuroradiology, so that place must be very good, right? Well, yes, it's marketing, but it worked. So anyways, those are the things that go through my mind during interview season, and from our program, that usually translates to working hard so that top applicants rank us somewhere in their top 5. We match all of our categorical positions. However, we receive funding for more positions, and we decided late in the interview season to post them as advanced, meaning starting this July 2021. Only applicants with an ACGME accredited internship could match for this position, and we interviewed very few of those. I was planning to have the position as an off-cycle position and fill it later this semester, but got somebody luckily in the SOAP. Man, SOAP experience was terrible. Pure chaos, and I almost gave up on spending any time with the process. ERAS, unfortunately, is really a joke, and their online system stability is really a problem. Also, the number of extremely qualified students out there in SOAP willing to do anything to secure a position was heartbreaking to me, and the reason this season was so stressful. I believe every PD should go through SOAP at least once. It's an eye-opener. Absolutely not. I'm happy for all of them. As a long-time mentor, I just want students to match. That's it. I'm happy when somebody matches. It doesn't matter where, here or somewhere else. That's really it. I'm happy for all of you. Yes, it's been a very long and difficult season, and I need a break. But I will come back to do my usual mentoring. In the meantime, get those applications ready, and we'll see you soon.